Bull's been doing this for some time now, since early June when we bottomed here at 360. You can see lower lows on the price action, higher lows on that oscillator, right? The elevation. Ladies and gentlemen, Keiki here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is up about 0.7% there. The S&P Nasdaq did the same. Semiconductor 0.6 along the Dow. Russell 2000 transformator move 1.7% positive. Banks also. Energy is pretty much flat. Biotech, healthcare down. Home builders are up. Along the utilities, retail, emerging market is up. Gold, silver, miners, and Bitcoin. These guys are up. Dollar flat. Oil up. Treasury bond up. VIX down a little bit. Let's do that to be around ETF. Spider. 65-minute chart here. So this is where we closed on Friday. It looks like we actually saw a down gap this morning here. This is where we opened this morning. We opened lower. So on that first hour, there was actually a down gap remaining open, but quickly buyers realized, because they already had the down gap open from Friday morning, they cannot afford to have another down gap. So on that first hour, in a desperation, bulls did fill that down gap quickly, and that's a good strategy, because if that down gap wasn't filled, bears were going to come down and fill this up gap around 375 or so. So once that, down gap was filled, however, that micro-term moving average has been killing the buyers, as you can see here. So on that second hour, bulls made a run for it, right? You can see that upper wick. But quickly, that micro-term is no longer supporting the buyers. And buyers were not able to advance, close that second hour with that shrink star candle. On the third hour, however, we actually got back above the micro-term moving average. And what happened was on that fourth and fifth, just making sure, buyers are trying to reprogram that micro-term, right? That was that fourth and fifth hour with those two dojis right here. They're working on this, making sure that if they can kind of negotiate with the micro-term to potentially support the buyers. Well, on that last hour, looks like we do have that Marubozu candle. Shaved top, shaved bottom. Only way, if bulls can find a way to at least retest that short-term moving average and the mid-term moving average, they have to fill this down gap as early as tomorrow. If not, bears will come down and bears are trying to shoot for that, trying to fill this up gap right here. This challenge that bulls are facing going into tomorrow, if the buyers can actually get above the gap area, gapping up over it and turning this into an island bottom reversal. And for that to happen, they must gap above 390.20 and make sure that gap, if there's going to be a gap, that gap stays open all throughout the day tomorrow. Keep in mind, though, we do have that short term coming down. So at some point, that's going to challenge the buyers there, right? So you can see that this is what bears did, right? You see that gap up? That was a bullish gap up. You see how bears gapped it down below that gap up, turning this into an island top reversal. That's what bulls can able to do if they can gap it over. And if they can gap it over and sustain that gap, there's a good chance at least 394.80 or so. Check out that oscillator. So we've been talking about this setup right here. This is what we call bullish divergence, and bulls been doing this for some time now, since early June when we bottomed here at 360. You can see lower lows on the price action, higher lows on that oscillator, right? The elevation, bulls are cooking up some here. So definitely we do see that oscillator, right? Advancing right here. They're making some move to the upside, but keep in mind the 1 day move one day pop is not a whole lot without the follow through. So bulls desperately need to see a follow through. Best case scenario is to gap above that gap and, you know, getting above that short term and retest that midterm. Obviously, if you're a bear here, if you're a seller here, you do not want to mess with any of that, and you want to see this also curling back down, maybe something like this here, and making sure that buyers do not fill, as long as bulls do not fill this down gap, we can still see bloodbath in this market to come back for you. We'll reassess the situation. Enjoy your evening. Go train tomorrow.